I come down to the dock about 5:30, quarter to 6. I was 6. There were still boats leaving, and I sat in the parking lot and helped a few guys untie their boats. And, where are you going? I said, nah, I'm going to ride this one out. Because normally we go out on whenever they call us to go out, we go out. And of course you have to understand at that time of the morning it's pretty easy to, any excuse not to go, and I had a bunch of them. Low tide, not that big of a swell, and then I did see the one that hit Hawaii, and it was only like a 5 or 6 foot, so I thought, just another cry wolf deal. So I sat down here in the harbor, and actually there was nobody here. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was sitting, there was a couple of reporters, and the harbor was empty, you know, other than the boats that were left in it, but they had a perimeter set up. They weren't letting any people in, and even the harbor district evacuated everybody. This place was empty. And when the harbor completely emptied, and I mean, it was just sand, then I knew I made a huge mistake, and there was a triplicate reporter was standing there. They were filming it, and I turned around, looked at them, I said, hey boys, you better go find some high ground. Well, why is that? And I said, well, this emptied. I remember the stories of the 64 one, and it means it's coming back in rapidly. So all they did was start their car and turned it around and backed it and left the engine running. Because there was quite a bit of damage with the first swell, the surge, the second one. So then I was coming down and I was looking in the third one, and it almost went over that main dock out there. The water was just starting to slap over the top of the main dock. That's how high it filled up. And I was in my truck and I said, okay, this is the one. When it hits that peak, I'm going to run down. That's what I'm going out on, and that's what I did. I ran down, but docks were already broke. There were boats sunk all around me. I had a life raft hooked to the boat. And my buddies, they helped me untie the boat, and one jumped on. And I didn't have time to tell him no, so. And I had 70 crab pots on the boat too. That was another excuse why I didn't really want to go out by myself. They weren't tied down, and I went, oh, just what I wanted to do was go out there and roll around on the ocean with the crab pots on there. So anyhow, I made the decision, and it was it's a good thing I did. I would have never made it out otherwise. And it was pretty, it was a white knuckle experience getting out. Not one of the brighter things I've ever done in my years of fishing. And I was making a remark as a Coast Guard was filming me leaving that I'm sure this is going to be a training film. And whatever you do, don't do what that guy is doing. They tried turning me around, the Coast Guard helicopter. They were yelling on. I didn't have time to answer them. Not that I would have aborted my trip anyway. There's not much you can do when you're in the middle of a tsunami, and it was rushing out pretty good, the current and tides and stuff. So all I wanted to do was make it to that outer breakwater there. Then I knew it was deep out there, and as far as the swells and the surges, that's nothing. But because I knew I wasn't going to stick it on the bottom. But that's when you get in trouble when you ground one of these boats. You have no steerage, you have nothing, you know. So that was my biggest worry. I had to find some deep water, and it went out in a hurry. That boat's got 325 horsepower, and I used every one of them horses. I was whipping them going out. There was nothing left in that throttle, I'll tell you.